Right, today we got in the Indian Scout 4-inch twin slash Vance Hines new mufflers for the exhaust. So we are going to get rid of the original OEM stock exhaust. They actually had taken the baffles out and it actually sounds pretty decent, but there's some rust and somebody tried to clean that rust up and scratched it, and they're just not great. Can't go wrong with some Vance Hines. I'm hearing that it's going to be even louder than what I've got now with the baffles out on these, so I guess we'll see. So the first thing we're going to do, loosen up these strap bolts and remove the stock mufflers. So the first thing we're going to do is use a metric number 15 to loosen the straps on the muffler. So that's a number 15, easy enough to do. Then we're going to loosen the top bolt for the top muffler before we can get to the second one behind it. So we're going to loosen that one up. Pretty easy. So once you get the top muffler off, which wasn't terribly hard, it was a little sticky. Now you exposed the bolt for the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and take that bolt off. So here comes the new ones. We got the Vance Hines 4-inch slash cut. All right, so now we're putting on the bottom muffler. It just slips right on there. We put on the new clamps, ready to go. We'll bolt that in. Now we'll put on this one. All right, so the original, or the new bolt calls for a washer and a lock washer and a regular nut. The original bolt has the washer built into the head, and it's already got it's a locking nut, and it just seemed to fit better. So I'm going to go ahead and use the original bolts that were on here rather than putting these new bolts on. You have to put the front or the lower muffler on first and tighten it up. Easy peasy, really easy. Then you have to put the top one on, but you really have a hard time getting the washers and nuts on from here because you just don't have the room to do it. And so I'm going to compromise and then put on the nut, or the washer, the lock washer, and the nut, while this one was tight, and you can see the space is really narrow. So rather than unhooking the headers from the motor, I used a handy pair of scissors and we fished everything on there. And then if you have a really narrow pair of so once I got it threaded using my my handy dandy little scissors, and we got everything on there, I used another 14 millimeter to grab a hold of this nut, and then used the 14 millimeter on the back side to tighten it up. And lo and behold, it worked. And it's nice and tight. Now we can come back over here and tighten up the clamps we have to tighten these up to 45 foot-pounds of torque. So we finally got everything on, and now we're just tightening it down to 45 foot-pounds of torque on the clamps. There we go. So we got 45 foot-pounds on the clamps. We've got the bolts all bolted in and ready to go, and that should do it. Got my fingerprints on there, but these 4-inch slashers are looking pretty sweet. But the true test is going to be, how do they sound? Comes the moment of truth. We have not heard this yet. This is the first time we're going to hear it together. Oh, so let's see what happens.